Welcome back. Continuing the news. The private sector organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, is concerned that the introduction of paternity leave could result in men hardly being at work, as some would be having children frequently. But there is also support from a section of the business community for its implementation. TVJ's Nick Dawkins continues to look at the issue of paternity leave, problem or possibility.
How many days I think months perhaps fathers should get as it relates to paternity leave?
Well, I probably think probably a month.
And this, for the Jamaica Employers Federation, could create a void in the workplace, since it means that some men would be absent.
Sometimes they have to go to a temporary agency, and sometimes they spread the work among other people in the same department for a period. So there's many different ways to resolve it, but the employers, in our membership anyway, have found very creative ways.
The private sector organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, is also concerned about the impact paternity leave could have on productivity.
There are men who have 2 children in a year from different mothers. That is a conservative statistic. The man would literally not be at work, some of them. Right? So we think that there would have to be a change in our cultural attitudes, in our values, where we are currently in a situation where some 70% of our children are still being born without fathers admitting to their paternity. That is the statistic we have.
But trade unionist Vincent Morrison says this cultural issue could be addressed by a similar provision in the Maternity Leave Act, which states that an employer is only obligated to give maternity leave with pay for 3 pregnancies.
If you have a 4th child or a 5th child, you're entitled to the leave, but not the pay. And I don't see a problem with that arrangement. I would support that arrangement.
However, the PSOJ says it would only support paternity leave on a conditional basis.
I think that if the circumstances of relationships between men and women in Jamaica and our cultural circumstances were different, then in those circumstances where a man is actually at home and he's actually made a commitment to the woman to help raise the child and made a commitment to the child, then paternity leave could help that, even without the anecdotal evidence. The actual empirical facts out there indicate that a man given paternity leave in Jamaica is going to spend most of his time in a rum bar.
JEF wants the Maternity Leave Act to be amended to facilitate provisions for paternity leave.
For example, if it's 12 weeks, just to pick some weeks, with pay, the paternity leave would come in, and that 12 weeks would be shared between the mother and the father. So they could do 10 and 2 or 9 and 3. So fundamentally, it wouldn't change the total leave applicable to the birth, but you split it.
Data released last year by the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, show that almost 2/3 of the world's children under 1 year old live in countries where their fathers are not entitled by law to a single day of paid paternity leave. UNICEF wants governments to implement national family-friendly policies that support early childhood development, such as paid paternity leave. Nick Dawkins, TVJ News.